So is this looking okay? Because it's on a weird screen.
It's a little
Or
small, but we can see the colors.
here, hang on. Ah, I got a funky setup here. Let me try. That better?
Yep.
Okay. This is my holy grail graph. Like it's like this is the one that I talk to people about all the time. So basically, if a particular hour during the day of the week it has a low inspections per hour, it's orange. If it's from 1 to 2, it's like a yellow to greenish. And if it's above 2, it's green. So it's kind of the whole stoplight effect of any given the inspections per hour at any given hour of the day at any given hour or day of the week. So, and this was really how I convinced um, our staff and lake associations and just stakeholders that weekdays were important was the green line right at 5 p.m. So, like, and also like as you have to cut back hours, the ones that you want to cut back on are those Tuesday, Thursday mornings, little bit on Friday. Um, so you have to have certain information set up in a certain way to get it, but which is basically, start and stop time on each access, and then compared to inspections stuff. But this has been a really useful tool. This one is county-wide, but like when lake associations contract in for inspections at their access, I'll provide it for them. So this is one of my favorite graphs. And sorry for scrolling. Um, yeah, this is the weekdays and weekends one. So the number of people that only show up on the weekends, people that only show up during the weekdays, and then both. Because again, this is like, hey, we want to make sure that we're talking to as many people. We don't want to talk to the same people over and over and over again. Like, yeah, you really drive a point home and that's great, but you want to spread the word wide and far. So this was another graph that I found is really useful for people like, oh, that's a really good reason to inspect during the week, but you got to be strategic about it.
Matt.
Yeah, Alicia, on that table you just shared with the color coding, how do you normalize the data to like make it like unit of effort? It's like if you're only there for 1 hour at 6 a.m., but you're there for 5,000 hours at 2 p.m., like your data is going to be skewed. So how do you make it all? How do you speak the same language for everything to actually have that be real instead of what you want it to be? I guess.
Yeah, it took me a little while to find the formulas in Excel to do this, but I have it in Excel that it basically like looks at shift data. So if somebody worked from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., I have it set up to count the number of hours that were worked at 4 p.m., like between 4 and 5 p.m. total over the season. So, and then I can pivot table it out. So it looks at a shift that says, okay, I'm at Lake Sylvia from this time to this time. It will look at that whole day and just be like, it'll count a half hour if they start at 8:30, and then it goes, okay, 1 1 1 1 until the shift is over, and then it's a bunch of zeros. So it looks at each shift. So I know if they were working and if an inspection occurred during those hours. So slightly imperfect, like the tail ends, the mornings and the evenings will mismatch a little bit, but I think it's close enough that we get a pretty good gist. Uh, like actually explaining it gets really technical in Excel, but I'm happy to help somebody set up how to do it. Because once you set it up, then you just have to input the data and everything else just calculates itself. So.
Yeah, Alicia, I feel like I'll be reaching out to you to maybe set up a little tutorial we can put together for people.
I would just add,
yeah, go ahead, Steve.
I love my pivot tables, but my inspectors seemed to really appreciate it when I went out to them and I said, hey, I want to know what you know because you're out here like 1,000 hours a year. When do the risky boaters show up? What are the risky accesses? What's the time frames? And once you can get them talking, there's a lot of good information you get from them, and they feel appreciated and valuable, which helps with that retention. Much of what they told me is what the data also told me, but the data itself gives me a better framework for justifying decisions.
Mm-hmm.
If I can just jump in super quick, I think that those anecdotal things that you're talking about, Steve, also are really, they can be better than any data or graph. Like when you talk to the lake associations and your other stakeholders as to why you're doing something, bringing in that story that corroborates with your data is really helpful.
All right, Spencer, you got a quick comment?
Yeah, yeah, just to mirror what Steve said. Yeah, the numbers on the back end, and then hearing what your people say, and learning these patterns of behavior and stuff. I mean, I'm in a kind of a unique spot. Otter Tail County, you're never more than 15 minutes from boat ramp. Shortest drive time is often like 5 minutes from ramp to ramp. So it's like that movie with the 2022, Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's kind of how we operate, right? We lake hop because the boaters lake hop. We'll see the same guide 5 times in a single day, right, on 5 different lakes. And we found starry stoneworts in a very unusual spot, smack dab in the county, a mile away from the Otter Tail River and another boat ramp. And it's a little lake that has 5 cabins on it, but gets tandem axle walleye boats in there on weekdays, right? So just knowing your audience and knowing your geography is super important.
Thanks, Spencer. All right.
Sorry, I'm gonna make one last comment
Yes.
and then I have to jump off. Don't be afraid to make some misses, because if you spend 5 hours at a boat ramp and you've missed 5 hours. But occasionally you hit on those things and you've just gotten a whole bunch of different data. So just don't be afraid to take a shot in the dark once in a while.
Absolutely. Thanks, Alicia. Yeah, Steve.
Oh, that's how I know Travis is my type of person, is that I do some exploratory hours, maybe 4 shifts on a lake. If there, it has starry stonework or some reason that we're interested in it and we just don't have any data, 4 to 10 shifts, get out there and see what the inspector experiences and what the data says.
Very nice. All right, Alicia has left us, but that's okay. All right, well, I will say, I'll stop spotlighting people here and say, thank you, everyone, for coming to this workshop and participating. I hope you found it helpful and exciting. We've recorded it, so we'll post it eventually, too, for those that want to review things. We'll also share the PowerPoints and resources and contact information that have been mentioned during this. So we'll just wrap up with that and say thanks, and we're looking forward to an awesome season this year. Get ready for it. Thanks all.
Yay. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.